Nancy, am I live on YouTube? Nancy?
Yes,
Sorry,
Judge.
that's beyond my technology. I'll
Okay.
check.
You are, Judge.
All right. Let's go on the record on cause number DC 209893, David Tyler Moss et al. Versus Marco Principe. Counsel, make your appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hunter Nunn, NUNN, and almost Warrant and Nunn, and Dan Wide and Associates for the plaintiff's judgment creditors, David Tyler Moss and Fidelissimous LLC. I'd also like to note, Your Honor, that my clients are here this morning, Mr. Moss and Mr. Keating is the manager of Fidelissimous LLC.
All right.
Your Honor, this is Philip Simpkins, making a special appearance again for Brian Martin.
Okay.
Judge, this is Jamal Johnson, once again making a special appearance for Brian Martin. I do apologize. I do not have my camera set up. I'm calling in by phone.
All right. The way my settings are set up, I'm not going to be able to see you, or not even going to be able to see that you're here. So if you could try to get the camera thing fixed, it may cause me to not know who's speaking when you speak. So try to get the camera thing fixed. But let's go ahead and proceed. We're here on a temporary injunction. Let's go ahead and start off with opening statements.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, and if I could, there's one matter I'd like to address very quickly if I can.
Okay.
We have exchanged exhibits list and a number of exhibits that I think each side wants to use here today. I don't have any objections to Mr. Martin's exhibits. I'm fine with them. I wanted to ask if they'll also agree to pre-admit my exhibits.
Any objection to plaintiff's exhibits? And what exhibit numbers are those?
1 through 18.
1 through 18, Your Honor.
Have you already provided those to the court reporter and to the court coordinator?
We have, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, and I'm not sure, at this point, I'm not going to be able to go ahead and stipulate to the exhibits until such time as they're introduced. There's a tremendous amount of hearsay and inconsistent information throughout them. I'm going to have to view them on a case-by-case basis.
It's going to slow this down a lot.
I mean, there's bank statements, there's all sorts of things that are not consistent with what I believe the testimony is going to be, and to admit that evidence and to allow it without seeing how it's going to be presented, I just can't do that.
So you're objecting to all 18. There's not a single one that you can agree to.
I could agree to the data that we provided, which would have been our discovery responses. They've got affidavits in there, they've got bank records in there. Whatever we provided them, we can certainly stipulate to.
So which exhibits can you agree to?
Let me pull them up real fast if I could, Judge. You have to minimize you for a second or two.
Rhonda, have you sent me the plaintiff's exhibits? I have the defendant's exhibits, but I don't see the plaintiff's exhibits. When did you send that to her?
Approximately 7 p.m. last night, Your Honor.
Oh, 7 p.m. Okay, Rhonda, can you check that? I don't see it. Okay, she's sending them now. All right, what numbers can you agree to?
Your Honor, I can agree to the civil docket exhibit 1, and it's just taken a good while to download it from the website. I believe That would encompass Pacer's documents as well.
So is that exhibit 2? If you could just
Yeah.
give me the numbers you agreed to. So you agreed exhibit 1, exhibit 2, what else?
Let me check the, exhibit 2, because I believe Pacer printout is also part of exhibit 1. So, let me pull your,
Judge, if I can try to simplify this, exhibits number 1, 2, and 3 all came from the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas website.
All right, exhibit 1, 2, and 3 are admitted. Do you agree to any of the rest?
We can prove them up with credit.
Your Honor, it's just taking a while on the, to download them. There's 363 pages of documents.
While he's doing that, you said which defendants' exhibits do you agree to?
I agree to all of them.
So that's 1 through what?
Like 5 or something.
If you'll bear with
There's
me.
more than that.
All right.
Your Honor, I'm just going to look at their sheet here, their exhibit list. Number 1, I can agree to. Number 2, I cannot agree to. I would object to 2. It's an affidavit. And it's inconsistent with what I can see here as it's described. The verified response, I'm okay with. Number 4, I'm going to object to. Five is okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3, and 5 are admitted.
So you're admitting the affidavit?
I am.
Yes, sir. All right. Number 6 are bank records. I'm going to object to the bank records.
Okay.
Again, I'll object to the summary of the described voluminous records. Number 7, I'll object to that. Tax returns, no objection.
8 is admitted.
We'll object to the bank records.
That's the one that they gave us.
Your Honor, those were
These
produced
are-
to us by Mr.
Maybe, okay. Payment receipts, we're good with. Evidence.
But did you agree to 9?
Yes, sir, I did.
9 and 10 are admitted.
10, 11.
Do you agree to?
Yes, I agree to those. 12's fine.
11. 11 is admitted.
12's fine.
12 is admitted.
13. We're okay
13
with.
is-
Objection.
13 is submitted.
14, no objection.
14 is admitted.
15, let me just go through these real quick. 15's fine, admitted. I mean, we can.
15 is admitted.
16, no objection.
16 is admitted.
You're going to object to 17, an affidavit from Brandon Keating. I know.
You're objecting to 17, okay?
Yes. And Brian Martin's discovery responses, no objection, Your Honor.
18 is admitted. All right, so let's look at defendant exhibits. How many exhibits do you have, Mr. Simpkins?
I believe we had 18.
So you're offering 18 exhibits and there's no objection by the plaintiff to 1 through 18 of defendants?
No objection, Your Honor.
Defendants 1 through 18 are admitted. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with opening statements.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Thank you very much for the court's time this morning and for hearing us. Your Honor, I don't want to try to reinvent the wheel here. I don't want to try to further complicate things that, yes, in honesty, are a little bit complicated. What I'm here to do today is to try to make this much more simple. Your Honor, we don't have the full picture yet. I'm here to admit that. We're going to get the full picture. The problem is, I think the evidence is going to show we're just starting to scratch the iceberg. The evidence we're going to show you today, Mr. Martin has not been honest with us at any point. We're going to talk about the financials. We're going to talk about the tax returns. We're going to get into it.
ownership of the channels.
We're going to talk about ownership of these channels. Judge, I'm here to show you we're scratching the tip of the iceberg. We need a little bit more time, and that's why we're here to ask for a temporary injunction. Thank you very much.
Okay. Response?
Honor, a couple things. I believe, just like a couple things. First of all, I don't believe that there's a lot of information, and just like Mr. Hunter said, there's a lot of information that's contained within their application for TRO as well as TI that is just not correct. And as an example of that, they considered Holly to be a cousin at one point. That's incorrect. There's information that they presented in their application that says that the YouTube channel Futuristic Hub, and that's a point of interest in this case, Futuristic Hub, was started in 2016 after the judgment. That's incorrect, Judge. It was not started in 2016. There's a litany of information that's just not accurate in their application for petition. And I believe Mr. Hunter's correct, or Hunter is correct. Mr. Nunn's correct. They are seeking additional information, but at this juncture, Your Honor, they don't have evidence to support a temporary injunction. They just don't have it. You're going to see today, evidence is going to show that Futuristic Hub is owned by somebody other than my client, Mr. Martin. Creamworks is owned by somebody other than Mr. Martin. You're going to find that Top Trends, another YouTube channel, is owned by somebody other than Mr. Martin. You're going to see who owns those channels today. You're going to see when those channels were created today. You're going to find out that Blocktastic, another target of defendant or plaintiffs in this case, is owned by somebody other than Mr. Martin today. Your Honor, this is a fishing expedition, and as far as this goes, they're trying to get an injunction on future income. It's not an asset. It's not property. It's inappropriate for a temporary injunction. And I think as the evidence sets out, if the court takes a look at it, it's going to have no other choice but to deny their motion for temporary injunction. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll call Brandon Keating.
All right, Mr. Keating, let me see. There you are. Mr. Keating, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, let's go ahead and proceed.
Mr. Keating, will you tell the court how you know Brian Martin, please?
I've known Brian Martin for about 10 years. We both work in the same industry and have worked together before.
And what industry is that, sir?
The YouTube industry.
Okay. Well, what do you do on YouTube?
I do a whole slew of things from channel creations, video creations, monetization, SEO.
You, in your individual capacity, you were a plaintiff in the case in federal court against Mr. Martin, correct?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us briefly what that case arose from?
It came from a contract dispute around the channel video games.
Okay. What was video games?
Video games was a YouTube channel created by the defendant, Princip. We all worked on it together.
What did video games do?
It accumulated content, video games related content, and placed it on the channel.
Okay, so these were videos that were posted on the video games channel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who were you working with when you were involved with that channel?
It would have been Marco Princip, Brian Martin, both defendants, and at times Tyler Moss.
Okay, is it fair to say that you worked closely with Mr. Martin on the video games YouTube channel?
It is fair to say.
Okay. So if you hear Mr. Martin's voice, you can identify his voice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about his animation style?
I can recognize his animation style. Yes, sir.
Who created the videos that went on the video games YouTube channel?
It was a slew of different video creators that submitted their content.
Did Mr. Martin create any of them?
For the video games channel, I do not I do not think he has.
Fair enough. You're able to identify his voice.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Keating, tell me how you came to determine that Futuristic Hub is owned by Mr. Martin.
Well, aside from the fact that he admitted to owning and creating it on the stand, it's just well known in the industry. His voice, his voice is on the channel, his animation style, and it's just been general knowledge in the industry that was his channel.
Your Honor, we're going to object, non-responsive.
Overruled.
When you say it's general knowledge, can you be a little bit more specific about what that means to you?
General knowledge, basically, for the most part, the people, I would say the top creators in the industry have had run-ins with Mr. Martin, and everyone, when they spoke about Mr. Martin, he was referred to as Brian Martin, AKA Futuristic Hub, AKA Life in Intent, AKA Vince from video games. It was well known that he had these channels that he was running.
Do you know how many channels Mr. Martin has been involved in?
I do not know total. I do not know.
So tell me, have you viewed videos on Futuristic Hub?
I have.
Okay, and what did you take away from those videos?
They were created by Brian Martin. It's his voice.
How did you come to understand that?
I've heard Brian Martin speak several times over the last 10 years, and it's obvious to me that it's his voice on the channel.
So Top Trends is another one that I understand he's affiliated with in some way, correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your understanding of Mr. Martin's ownership or managing interest or whatever you want to call it in that channel?
It is my understanding that it is controlled and owned by Mr. Martin.
Okay, and why do you understand that?
The channel was launched as a sister channel to the video games channel. It was Brian Martin's voice on the channel. He publicly acknowledged creating the channel. He publicly identified himself as the channel creator within the videos.
Sorry.
Thank you. Blocktastic. Is that another channel that you understand Mr. Martin to have some involvement with?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell me, when it comes to Blocktastic, what is your understanding of Mr. Martin's involvement in that channel?
The channel was originally launched called Drama Hub, and he changed it to Blocktastic within the last few years. It was, again, his voice, his creations. It was identified. I identified it as him that was running the channel.
Creamworks Animations YouTube channel.
Yes.
Is that another one that you understand?
What was it originally known as? You said Drama something?
Drama Hub.
Drama Hub. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain why you think that he owns that.
It was his voice. He created the channel. In the past, he's tweeted about the channel, about the videos he was making. It was originally supposed to be a drama news channel, and since then, he changed the name of the channel to be another animation channel.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let's talk about the Creamworks Animations channel.
Yes, sir.
Is that another one that you understand Mr. Martin to have some involvement with?
Yes, sir.
What is your understanding of Mr. Martin's involvement?
I believe Mr. Martin, it is my understanding that Mr. Martin has created the videos and is the voice of those videos as well.
You understand that he's the owner of that channel?
I do.
Okay, why is that?
Because again, it was the way it was launched. It was launched off of his other channels. You can put other channels on your homepage that you created, and when it was launched, that was listed as one of his other channels. And it's his voice and his animation style within the videos.
Have you been able to make a more detailed review of some of these videos from all of these channels?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by a more detailed review?
You're a fairly sophisticated individual when it comes to computers and technology, correct?
I have my strong points and my weak points.
You're able to interpret coding on videos in a way that other people can't. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So have you looked at codes for videos from these 4 channels?
Yeah, so yes, I have. I have.
Thank you. And what did you find when you did that?
Last year, I ran a code search. You could poll, each individual creator has a individualized AdSense advertising code that's placed within their videos. Last year, I pulled all of these channels' AdSense code from the videos, and they all matched, meaning all 4 channels had the same AdSense account placing ads on the videos.
Could you spell AdSense so it's clear for the court reporter what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor. AdSense is Alpha, Delta, Sierra, Echo, November, Sierra, Echo.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Keating, would you tell the court what AdSense is?
AdSense is the ad platform owned by Google, and those are they handle the advertisements that go on YouTube videos.
Okay, so what you're telling us is that the videos that you've looked at the codes for across these 4 channels, they're all being made by the same person.
Correct. When I pulled the codes at that time, they were all under the same individualized AdSense account.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I have just a moment, please? Mr. Keating, what is your level of confidence that Mr. Martin owns each of these 4 YouTube channels we've talked about this morning?
Please spell them out.
Futuristic Hub, Creamworks Animations, Top Trends, and Blocktastic.
In my mind, there's no doubt that these are owned by Mr. Martin.
Thank you, sir. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Keating, my name is Philip Simpkins. I've just got some questions for you, want to go over with it. And I want to start with where you kind of left off there.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I noticed that you said was that the AdSense codes are showing up on all 4 channels. Is that correct?
When I ran the AdSense code for the channels that I ran, yes, they were on the videos.
So if I owned those channels, AdSense doesn't tell you who owns the channels, does it?
No, it does not.
You didn't nothing about running that code in any way, shape, or form told you who owned that channel, correct?
No, sir.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
So if somebody else owns all 4 of those channels, the AdSense numbers are going to be the same too, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if Holly Martins owns those channels, then the AdSense numbers that you're telling this court would all be the same too, correct?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
What
Overruled.
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again, sir?
bottom line is, when you say the AdSense numbers, the coding was all the same, you
Yes,
don't know who owns that channel as a result of that AdSense, do you?
No, sir. It does not identify the person that owns it.
Okay. Now, tell me what Mr. Martin does. What did he do for a living? What did he do back in the day?
Mr. Martin was a YouTuber.
He's very good at it, isn't he?
I would say he is. Yes, sir.
One of the better people in the industry, isn't he?
That's debatable.
Okay. Do you still own an interest in video games?
I personally, no, sir, I do not.
Who'd you sell it to, if you did sell it?
Turned it over to Fetalissimus LLC.
Does anybody else, do you know?
Could you spell that for the record?
Yes, sir. I will try. Foxtrot, India, Delta. Oh, goodness. I apologize. I'm gonna have to pull it up, Your Honor.
Pull up that heading. We got you.
I need to put my dog away. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay, I found it. Let me know when you're ready. I apologize. Down. Here, down. Leave it. Good boy.
Okay, let's go ahead and start up again.
All right, I think you're spelling.
Yes, I'll start it over. It's Foxtrot, India, Delta, Echo, Lima, India, Sierra, Sierra, India, Michael, Uniform, Sierra. So it's Fetalissimus LLC.
Now, one of the questions I was going to ask you was that, can you tell me what Mr. Martin used to, when you first met him, what was he doing in the industry, the YouTube industry?
He was creating videos. When I first met Mr. Martin, he was creating videos under the name Life in a Tent.
When you say creating videos, is that synonymous with ownership? Or when you,
He was a YouTuber. You could say he owned a YouTube channel that he put videos on.
okay, but people could create content on your video games platform, but they didn't own the channel. Is that correct?
Correct.
But people all the time create videos and upload them to a platform. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Martin does voiceovers for people in the YouTube industry. Is that correct?
I've never known Mr. Martin to do voiceovers for other people. No.
All right. Part of what Mr. Martin would do would go out and find young talent in the YouTube industry. Is that correct?
In what capacity? I'm not sure.
Part of what he did was he'd go out and find talent and then promote them on his website. Is that on his platform? Is that correct?
I've never known Mr. Martin to do that. No.
Have you ever heard the name Holly Martin?
Only within the last few weeks.
Now, you mentioned that Mr. Martin admitted on the stand to owning what?
Forgive my recollection, but I believe it was he acknowledged to creating and owning Futuristic Hub.
And that was made in open court?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen any transcript of that? Is there some transcript that I haven't seen?
I have the transcripts of the trial.
Have you actually seen that testimony in any transcripts?
I've read the testimony. I cannot recall it verbatim, but I'm left with the memory of that's what he said on the stand.
So verbatim, in your best recollection, he took the stand and said, "I own Futuristic Hub."
Yes, sir. I could pull up the document. I have it on my computer.
Could you?
Let me see if I have it on this one. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and unmute. So go ahead and share screen that if you can find it.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna find it right now. There's a lot. It's pretty. I can't even say the word voluminous.
Mr. Wyde, you're shaking your head. Was that not in the trial?
I mean, it's possible I may be misremembering, but
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Yes.
I apologize. I was muted. I didn't underhear your question. I'd be happy to address that.
Oh, no, you just were shaking your head. I was wondering if that, I don't want to go through this process if you already know that it's not in the transcript.
That Mr. Martin admits to owning Futuristic Hub.
Yeah.
I know that he filed LLC documents with the state of Texas, wherein he and Chrissy Barmore Martin, his prior wife, admitted to being members of the LLC and managers
That's
of
not what
Futuristic Hub.
I'm just asking if it's in the transcript. I'd like to see it. If it's not in the transcript, I don't want to waste our time.
I could not represent to this court that Futuristic Hub was a subject of the underlying trial. I just don't recall 4 years ago.
Your Honor, if I may, I found it in the transcripts where he does acknowledge that it's his.
Go ahead and share screen it.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
I stand corrected by my client, Your Honor.
Well, let's see what it says.
Desktop. I apologize. This is the first time I've used Zoom. I believe.
So where it says share screen on the bottom, okay.
Is this it here? Can you guys see this?
Okay.
So this is in the court. Is that the term or name for your video game channel? Or
We need to make this a little more clear. So this is a transcript of what trial?
this is the transcript from the video. It was Moss v. Princep et al. This was Brian Martin on the stand. Here it says Brian Martin right here. This
Okay.
is a cross-examination by Judge Wide. And if I can just scroll down, right here you can see, let's see, he's talking about FH meaning Futuristic Hub. That would be it. About the question, what do you mean roll up? And we were discussing him merging the channel with video games. And then I'm gonna scroll down, there it is right here. Is that the term or name for your video channel? He said, my animation channel on YouTube, yes.
Let me see. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to need to email that to my court coordinator. Let's make that Exhibit 19, this transcript. Or has that already been, is that one of your exhibits for the plaintiff?
It is not, Your Honor.
We're happy to add it to the list as exhibit number 19.
Excuse me. All right.
Bless you.
Exhibit 19, which is this transcript. You need to email that, Mr. Keating, to your lawyer right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
You should stop sharing screen, Brandon. Everyone
Okay.
can see your email box.
Stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that.
I'm lost here. I apologize. Okay.
Okay, we ready to proceed?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Now, I do want to go over,
I apologize, Judge, but Mr. Simpkins, prior to that exhibit, could the court or Mr. Keating be allowed to state the page number in the trial transcript?
Oh, good point.
I just for future reference, Judge.
That's a good point. What page number was that on? Can you tell Mr. Keating?
Yes, Your Honor. This is volume 3 and page 66. Well, it starts, the questions begin 65, but he acknowledges it says channel on 66.
So just send volume 3. You don't need to send the whole
Yes, Your Honor.
thing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's proceed.
yes, Your Honor. Okay, Mr. Keating, let's see.
My apologies. Do you want me to send this after my line of questions, or should I just, I'd rather focus on one thing at one time. If
Go ahead and send it right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Send it to me, please, Brandon.
And then Mr. Nunn, I want you to send it immediately to the court reporter.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
We just don't want it to, this is part of the court's transcript now, so.
Yes, sir.
It's uploading now, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Simpkins, you can proceed.
All right, Mr. Keating, throughout your testimony with Mr. Nunn, you'd mentioned, you kept using the words involved with, created, running, terms such as that. Rather than using the word ownership, you used other words. So tell me, do you know whether, do you have any personal knowledge that Mr. Martin owns the channel and is in control of that channel, Top Trends?
I'm sorry, do I have,
Do you have personal knowledge that Mr. Martin controls Top Trends?
yes, sir.
He's the owner of it, that he is the owner of Top Trends.
Yes, sir.
Has he ever told you that?
He's admitted it to it on the stand, and it's,
Did he also admit Top Trends on the stand?
no, he did not admit Top Trends on the stand. No, sir.
Okay, so has he ever told you that he owns Top Trends?
Yes, sir.
When?
Uh, There would have been discussions where he offered Top Trends as part of the settlement, saying, we'll give you Top Trends if you drop the case. And as far as him personally telling me I own that channel, I do not believe those words came out of his mouth to me. No, now that I'm trying to recall.
Will, you use the word will. Will give to you. Who is the other person that he was referencing? Do you know? If you know, if you don't know, please don't speculate.
If he said I or will, or I do not know. No, sir. I cannot recall exactly.
But he never said I own the channel. Correct.
Yeah, I can't recall that.
Blocktastic.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you have personal knowledge that Mr. Martin owns and controls that channel today?
Owns and controls it today. I could just base it off of my memory of it being his channel from the past. I don't know if that answered.
Well, it just tells me that you have some recollection that you believe he owned it in the past.
Absolutely, 100%.
Did Mr. Martin ever tell you that he owned Blocktastic?
No.
What are you basing your opinion on?
Just my memory of the channel when it was launched. It was Brian Martin doing the voiceover, talking about drama. It started off as a drama channel, and then it turned into an animation channel. So it hasn't always been Blocktastic.
It was Drama Hub at some
Yeah,
point.
yes, sir.
But in any event, they're kind of fungible. They're the same thing in your mind, Drama Hub?
Well, it's the same exact channel. It's just been rebranded as Blocktastic.
Okay, all right. So you have no knowledge of Mr. Martin actually ever owning Blocktastic. You're basing your opinion because it looks the same as his other, not his, but other materials that are being discussed today.
Well, and he's also acknowledged owning the channel in the past on Twitter. He's all. I'm sorry.
That's pretty important. Do you know where he admitted to owning Blocktastic?
It would have been on his old, well, not Blocktastic, Drama Hub. At the time, it would have been Drama Hub when he acknowledged owning it, or when he said my channel.
All right. So all of your information. So there may be something out there in the Twitter, but you don't know where it is. Is that correct?
Well, he's deleted his Twitter. So anything he's ever said on Twitter is gone now.
All right. Very good. So now, as far as Blocktastic goes,
Yes, sir.
when did Drama Hub become Blocktastic?
I can't give you the date. It's possible you could go into the Wayback Machine, which is owned by the archives, archives.gov. You could put in the URL, and it will show you screenshots throughout the years, and you might be able to determine that way when it made the switch.
So you don't know how long Blocktastic has actually been in existence?
I don't know how long the channel has been going under the name Blocktastic.
So you don't have any information for the judge that indicates that Brian Martin ever owned Blocktastic?
Just
Everything-
off,
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
Overruled. You
I
can ask.
apologize. Can you ask that one more time, sir?
do you have any evidence that Mr. Martin has ever owned and controlled only Blocktastic, the name Blocktastic?
Evidence in hand? No, sir. Just off of my memory.
Okay. So we talked about Top Trends, Blocktastic, Creamworks. Do you have any personal knowledge that Mr. Martin owns today or has ever owned Creamworks?
No, sir. Just off of my memory.
What are you basing your memory on?
My memory of when it was started, the channels, well, my memory of him, his voice being on the channel and the animation style for that specific channel.
So has anybody ever told you that Mr. Martin owns Creamworks?
Anybody else? No. Well, nobody has told me that he owns it.
Mr. Martin never told you that he owns Creamworks?
Not Creamworks, no.
So although we've got these 4 YouTube channels that we're actually kind of discussing, and you've already indicated that the coding is the same for AdSense.
Mm-hmm.
All you're able to do is say that somebody has created 4 channels that are similar to one another and probably owned by the same person. Is that correct?
Regarding all 4 channels, no. I can say from Creamworks, that's all I can base it on.
Did I miss something? I thought you couldn't refer to any regarding Blocktastic. You had no information or evidence that.
Well, I have no evidence to submit you. I guess I could submit. I could show you how to go through the Wayback Machine, and we could run through, you know, how I came up with my mind. No, there's, as far as evidence to give you, no, sir.
Do you know when Futuristic Hub came into existence?
No, sir. It would have been, to my recollection, sometime around 2012, maybe after.
So the petition, I don't know if you had a chance to read it, the application for TRO and temporary injunction states that YouTube channel Futuristic Hub, as well as Futuristic Hub LLC, came into existence shortly after the judgment in 2016. Now, according to your information, that would be incorrect information contained within the petition.
As far as the channel coming into existence, that would be incorrect.
What petition are you referring to exactly? The plaintiff's petition in this case?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am.
Okay.
The application for TRO and temporary injunction. Yeah. Mr. Keating, how is it that people get paid on YouTube? Give me an idea of how that works.
There's a slew of different ways. That's kind of broad. I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask you this. If you owned a channel, have you ever owned a channel and gotten paid for it?
Yes, sir.
How is it identified? How does that transfer come down?
There's several different ways. But typically what will happen is AdSense will deposit the money into your bank account or whatever payment method you set up in your account.
Would you ever know what that money was for?
I believe it says it's been a while, but I believe it would say coming from AdSense.
Okay. Well, would it identify the channel itself?
On the payment? No, sir. Yeah, I don't believe so.
Now, in your affidavit, let me ask you if I'm correct here. In your affidavit, Brandon Keating, that was attached to judgment creditor's original petition for fraudulent transfer, application for temporary restraining order and temporary and permanent injunction, and motion to consolidate cases. You had a affidavit attached to that, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Let me pull up my affidavit. I can. I'm sorry, is this the affidavit that was notarized in Oregon?
That's correct.
Okay, I'd like to pull it up if I may. Sent.
Go ahead and share screen it.
Okay.
I don't think I got it. I don't even know how to share screen. I'm gonna see if I can do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Simpkins, you're going to share screen?
Sure, you do it.
I can do it. I have it.
Go ahead and do it, Mr. Nunn.
Yes, sir. Let me, pull this
I
over.
think you can see everything.
Oh, okay.
So hit screen 2.
That's it. Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
While that's happening, Mr. Keating, why is it that you provided this affidavit? What was the purpose behind it?
If I may get a chance to read it.
Yes, sir.
Can you blow that up? I can't read it. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
If the coroner or anybody that needs it would just let me know when they need me to move, I'm happy to do that.
Move down. Move down. No, go to 4. I didn't read 4. Okay, 5. Go down to 5.
Okay.
Go down. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Keating, what was the purpose behind this affidavit?
Well, my attorneys asked me to write up this affidavit, and I believed it pertained to Mr. Martin offering a settlement for us to walk away.
Did you pick out which sections to include in your affidavit itself from this printout?
No, I believe the lawyers picked out.
I'd just like to instruct my client not to reveal any privileged information.
Roger that. I mean, yes, sir.
I really think, Mr. Simpkins, the question you're asking are almost by their very nature going to require him to provide privileged information. So I'm going to instruct you to rephrase.
Yes, sir. In this affidavit, I'm just curious, where it says on or about, I'm looking at paragraph 6. It says they included an offer to settle for $500,000. And then in quotes, you say, here's the offer, $500,000 up front, and we walk. Is that what that's what that says, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you include the next line that says it's not my money?
I don't believe I omitted that. I took conversations span several paragraphs, and that is the paragraph that pertained to his offer.
Well, again, my question is, you've got in your affidavit.
Excuse me, Judge. I apologize, Mr. Simpkins, for interrupting. May I make a matter noted for the record, Your Honor?
Sure.
Previously, I saw where Mr. Martin had appeared via Zoom on this proceeding. Now I do not see him on the proceeding. I'd like the record to reflect that there he is. I was going to ask the court to find that he has made another appearance in a proceeding, even though Mr. Simpkins has made his objections regarding special appearance.
All right, so noted. Let's move on.
Thank you.
So, and I don't want to belabor this point, Mr. Keating. I just want to see, it says specifically in here in paragraph 6, here's the offer, $500,000 up front. And
Can you move down to that screen?
And then you left out, and my question is, why did you leave out the part that it says, it's not my money?
I'm gonna read this real quick. I apologize, just so I can. I didn't leave anything out. I took a screenshot and I sent the screenshot. If that statement would have been made within these comments, let's say in the middle, it would have been left in. I think it's just a matter of room or space on the screen.
Okay. But okay, thank you, sir. We had a little conversation with Mr. Martin where he told you that these 4 channels that are the subject today, Top Trends, Futuristic Hub, Blocktastic, and Creamworks are owned by Holly Martin.
I'm sorry. Can you cut out there? Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, not a problem. Have you ever had a conversation with Mr. Martin where he has told you that Holly Martin is the owner of Top Trends, Blocktastic, Creamworks, and Futuristic Hub?
From my recollection, I don't believe Mr. Martin has ever mentioned Holly Martin to me.
Do you know if Mr. Martin has ever owned any other than video games? Has he ever owned any other channels, YouTube channels?
I know he owned Life in a Tent, which has been since terminated. Off the top of my head, for aside from these 4 channels, I can't say. I wouldn't know if he owned other channels.
Did y'all talk much? Were y'all just passing friends or what?
I mean, we've spoke over the years quite a few times.
And I want to clear up something real quick. You said that in the very beginning of your testimony that there's general knowledge that these website or these sites were owned by Mr. Martin. Is that general knowledge acquired, or is it related to the fact that they have the similar style?
No, sir. It's due to the fact that several people within the industry have had run-ins with Mr. Martin, and they've spoke publicly about it. When they refer to him, as Futuristic Hub, and it comes from just years of other people speaking about their dealings with him as well. So from that, I concluded in my head that most people understood that Futuristic Hub was Brian Martin.
That's witness.
Very quickly, Mr. Keating, we've talked quite a bit, or my opposing counsel did to you, about when Futuristic Hub was started. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your understanding it was started at some point before the judgment was entered against Mr. Martin in federal court. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But Mr. Keating, you did not prepare this petition or the application for the temporary injunction, did you?
No, sir.
No further questions. I'll pass the witness.
Call your next witness.
Your Honor, I'll call Brian Martin.
Mr. Martin, please raise your right hand. Let me stop sharing this so I can see him.
Yeah.
Where's Mr. Martin? There he is. All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You need to unmute.
I do, Your Honor.
Let's proceed.
Mr. Martin, where are you physically right now?
I'm in the United Kingdom.
Where?
I'm sorry?
Where are you in the United Kingdom?
England.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer.
England.
Where are you in England?
I am at a friend's house right now.
Whose house are you at?
My friend Sue.
What's her last name?
I'm not particularly wanting to bring in other people involved. I'm using this as a way to get better Wi-Fi from the hotel.
Objection non-responsive.
Your Honor, I'll object to relevance.
Yes, objection to relevance.
Yeah, I agree on that. I'll sustain the objection. Is this where you're living, Mr. Martin, or are you just there today for Wi-Fi?
I'm just here for Wi-Fi, Your Honor.
Okay.
We're in between. I'm in between moving because of coronavirus is so bad. It's getting worse down here. I have not been able to get a home yet with my wife.
Sir, where do you live?
I'm actually in hotels.
Are you in one hotel or more than one hotel?
There's one hotel. It was in Clacton. That's the one that I was in before. That's the one that I stayed in.
Where did you stay last night?
I stayed in Clacton.
At this Premier Inn hotel?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
How long have you been there?
Ooh, September 16th, I believe.
That was your first day in this Premier Inn hotel in England?
Yes, sir.
I understand you're claiming that you're in England. Tell me exactly when you moved.
So this is the UK thing here, and this is time, London.
My question is a little bit different, sir. My question is, can you tell me exactly when you moved?
Yes, I booked a flight ticket on September 12th of this year, and to be with my wife, my British wife. I flew out on September 16th. I'd sent the information to my attorney, September 16th. I intend to stay here and live with my wife in the United Kingdom.
So before that, you lived in the Frisco, Plano area here in Texas for at least 5 years, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Where is Holly Martin? I understand is your wife, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where does she live?
As far as now,
Is she staying with you in the hotel?
she would stay at nights with me or during the days. It depends, but she goes back and forth with her family.
Where is her residence?
She doesn't have an actual residence right now.
Where does she live?
We'll go back and forth between her father's, her nan's, and then the hotel.
What is the address for the house where she lives when she's not with you?
So I would be inclined to answer that question.
Please do.
I mean, declined, I'm sorry. My autism, I'm getting things back and forth. I would prefer not to bring her family in this.
Objection non-responsive, Your Honor. Could I ask the court to advise the witness?
Yeah, you're going to need to provide that address.
I don't have that address off. The addresses are weird out here. I don't know the addresses. I know that it's in the Clacton area, but as far as the addresses are, I've never could remember or know exactly what addresses.
Have you been to the house?
Yes, a few times.
How many?
A few. I mean, it's just under 5. Under 5.
You don't know the address where your wife lives?
The United Kingdom addresses are very weird. No, I absolutely do not. All the houses are together. Everything is very different.
So, Mr. Martin, I've read your interrogatory answers, such as they might be.
Mm-hmm.
And without in any way acknowledging that I think they're sufficient, I'm going to ask you, based on your answers, I understand you're in between moves. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Where are you moving to?
Well, we don't know yet. We're still waiting because the coronavirus is getting out of hand out here. We're still trying to find out exactly where it is that we want to go.
You have nowhere lined up to move into?
Not necessarily. No, not yet.
What does not necessarily mean?
Well, we're waiting for the pandemic on this side to raise up, because right now the pandemic is getting worse. They're about to have another lockdown.
So you're not actively looking for other lodging right now. Is that correct?
My wife is. Yes, she is. She's actively looking.
Has she signed any kind of lease agreement anywhere?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Has she entered into an agreement to purchase any real property?
Not that I'm aware of.
You said in the interrogatory answers that you're currently borrowing phones. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you have your own phone number currently?
No, not at this time.
When's the last time you had your own phone number?
I mean, it's been a while. I would say, well, I would say in Texas, I had a phone number in Texas.
What was that phone number?
It was 214-436-9221.
Who was the carrier?
That would be T-Mobile.
How long did you have that phone number?
A few years.
How many phones are in your possession right now?
Judge, I'd like to object to this line of questioning as irrelevant to the TI hearing itself.
Yeah, I don't know why does it matter how many phones he has?
He's a party to the case. We're here about fraudulent transfers, Your Honor, and I'm trying to figure
We're
out.
here about the
what
TI
it is.
hearing. Judge, we're here about the TI hearing.
Yeah. I've given you some latitude here, but we're here about a TI hearing about the ownership of these 4 websites. I don't know. You're going pretty far afield.
Not a problem, Your Honor. I'll move on. Sir, in the hotel that you're in, are you paying for that hotel?
No, I'm not paying for the hotel.
Who's paying for the hotel?
My wife.
What does your wife do for a living?
YouTube.
What does she do on YouTube?
She's the owner of Futuristic Hub.
Is she now?
Yes.
When did she become the owner of Futuristic Hub?
She's always been the owner of Futuristic Hub.
Always?
Always. She's 20 years old. Yes. She makes kids animations. I'm 36.
Your testimony is she's always owned it.
Yes.
All the way back to 2016 or whenever this channel was created.
2012, when I met her on Minecraft, I was seeking talent for the video games channel. And then I ran into her. As creepy as it sounds, it's a lot of history.
She owns Futuristic Hub. So does she get paid for that channel?
To my knowledge, she didn't get paid until recently, a few years ago. We never really talked about the merits. You see, when we met about the channel, I was in the market of promoting several young creators on the video games channel. And I was in the market of helping young creators.
Sir, does she get paid for that channel?
Now she does. I'm sure of it. Yes.
When did she start getting paid for the channel?
I do not know the correct date. Her financials, as I see it, I'm not interested in her total financials.
She's your wife and you're not interested in her financials.
Correct.
You can't tell us when she started receiving payment.
I would not be able to tell you the exact moment. It could have been a couple years ago. She probably when she turned 18 or close to it.
Who pays her for Futuristic Hub?
I'm sorry?
Who pays her for Futuristic Hub?
I do not know.
Does she have an AdSense account?
I do not know that.
Is she with you right now?
No.
Where is she?
I believe she's at her father's.
The place where you don't have the.
The place where you don't have the address.
Correct.
Do you have her email addresses?
I have one. I do have one of them. I do know one of them.
What is that? What's that email address?
I believe it's mchorses23@gmail.com. That's the only one that I'm aware of.
In your interrogatory answers, you indicated that you're common law married to your wife, Holly, in the United Kingdom. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How did you come to determine that you're common law married to your wife in the United Kingdom?
we're going to be domiciled here in the United Kingdom. There's different laws in the United Kingdom. I'd like to recognize that with my British wife.
Did you ever get married to her in Texas?
Yes, we did get married in Texas.
When?
We got married in June 4th of 2019.
June 4th of 2019.
That is correct.
Did you have a formal ceremony?
We got married in front of a judge. It was actually rather quick.
Did you get a marriage license?
Yes. Yes, we did.
That marriage has not been terminated, correct?
That is correct. It almost was.
I understand at one time you were married to Chrissy Lee Barmore Martin. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
So you knew Holly well before you and your ex-wife were divorced. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, yes, sir. That is correct.
Why do you say unfortunately?
Because the divorce that I had with Chrissy was an ugly divorce. Unfortunately, now I have to bring it back up. Unfortunately, I had an affair with my ex-wife, Chrissy. She knew it. She's known of Holly since 2014. I had an affair in 2018, and we divorced. It was an ugly divorce.
Are you working right now?
No, sir.
When's the last time you worked?
Video games. And then I was a manager for, several different channels. After I lost the video games channel, I wanted to continue managing and helping channels out. There's a difference between being a manager and an owner. I was more or less a manager helping dozens and dozens of channels out because I didn't have a platform anymore. And so gradually as the years went by, I lost management because these channels grew and they did their own thing.
How many channels did you quote unquote manage?
I would say I managed over 20, 25 channels.
When is the last time you're claiming that you managed a channel?
The last time I managed a channel was Top Trends, actually. The major channel, Top Trends.
Were you paid for that?
Yeah, I was paid for Top Trends, yes.
Okay. Who paid you?
The owner.
Who's the owner?
Cameron. Cameron Grant from the United Kingdom. Very young man. Nice young man. His face was all over the channel. Unfortunately, he left the channel.
Tell me what time period approximately you were involved with managing the Top Trends channel.
I managed the channel. This is about a few years back. So, it could have been, I think it was 2016 to around 2018. It was about 2 years. Yes, that's correct.
Were you an employee of that channel or were you an independent contractor?
I would like to say independent. I was helping him with search engine optimization. I was giving him certain ideas, helping him with keywordings, sort of the inside of how to grow his channel.
Did you receive a 1099 from him?
No, I did not.
Did he pay you?
Yes, I did get paid.
How much did he pay you?
I would say he paid me around, well, it depends because in YouTube payments it comes in. So it was a few thousand here, a few thousand there through PayPal.
Through PayPal?
Yes.
So you had a PayPal account then?
Long time ago. That's correct. Yes.
Well, 2 years ago.
You said you managed over 20 other channels. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay. You didn't tell us about any of those in your interrogatory answers, did you?
No, there's too many of them. There's quite a few channels.
And we're going to get into that, but without taking the time to break every one of them down line by line, were you paid for managing those channels?
No, I actually was not paid.
You did it for free, gratis.
Absolutely, just like I did with video games, I did it for free.
So is it your testimony, sir, that you went from 2016 to 2020 with absolutely no income from any source?
No, in my tax returns from 2018, that's from cash I received from several areas that I've helped, money orders here, cashier's checks here, cash sometimes. So I was actively working up until about 2018-ish, maybe late 2018.
Okay, in your 2018 tax return, you just told me that that was various payments here and there in cash from various different sources.
Correct.
So there's not going to be anything on there from just one particular source, correct?
I would say correct, yes.
Okay. Have you ever received any payments from Google for your work on YouTube?
Not necessarily for my work on YouTube through an AdSense account. Yes, I have.
Okay, how much has Google paid you?
Ooh, it hasn't, well, the term pay me or pay the subject, because when it comes to AdSense, you can actually add an AdSense on anybody's YouTube channel, whether you
How
help
much has
manage.
Google paid you, Brian Martin, directly?
I mean, it's not my money. Would you rephrase the question if you can?
How much money has Google AdSense paid to you directly from 2016 to now?
I'm only aware of those 2 payments that were in the exhibits. That's all I've received. Nothing before, nothing after.
So, okay, so then you've received over $180,000 in payments from Google. Correct?
From those exhibits, that's what it shows. It was from an AdSense account, yes.
So what did you do with that money?
The money was dispersed to other people. It was actually from several areas. From when I was managing, you can actually add YouTube AdSense. You can add AdSense to different YouTube channels. At the time, I wanted to create my own network. Mr. Keating knows about creating networks. And in 2018, I really did want to manage several channels and create a network. And in order to do that, you'd have to have an AdSense account that you can add on to.
So
it was short-lived because of the appeal that came through in 2019. I quit.
So that network, was that Futuristic Hub?
No, sir, that was not Futuristic Hub.
Okay, so as we sit here today, you've admitted that you were paid $180,000 at least by Google, and you can't tell us where it went.
No, I can say it was dispersed by the people that I was working with, and then it ended in 2019.
Who were you working with?
Several different channels.
Who were they?
Off the top of my head, I can say that Futuristic Hub was one of them, which was actually happened to have been one of the ones that I was actively managing. I mean, there's Pro Pepper, there's other such channels.
Please tell me every one that you can tell.
I would have to literally at this time, I'm gonna have to be honest, at this time I was actually not in a good place. I have my paper here to prove that I tried to commit suicide in January of 2019.
With all due respect, objection. So Mr. Martin, we asked you to produce those documents, didn't we?
Documents, I'm sorry?
We asked you to produce documentation about that, didn't we?
About
what?
About payments that you've received for your involvement in YouTube channels, including
Yes,
Futuristic.
No, those are not my YouTube channels.
Okay. You haven't produced any documents about that, have you?
About
Payments received from Google.
Payments received from Google.
no, I think that was in the exhibits though, I believe.
Okay. So to summarize, sir, as we sit here today, you can't tell me exactly where that money went or when it went there, correct? From these 2 Google payments of $180,000.
I mean, it was dispersed several different ways. I did not keep an accounting on it, no.
And you're not able to give that to us today, correct?
That is correct.
I understand that you had a Chevy Malibu vehicle back here in Texas. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And you did not take that with you to England, correct?
That is correct.
Where is it?
That's been sold.
Who'd you sell it to?
It's a Cash for Cars website. They come to your home and you sell your car.
What was the sell price?
Objection, Judge. The Malibu is not the subject of this TI hearing either.
Yeah, he's right. Sustained.
Just a moment, please, if I can, Your Honor. I'm gonna try to keep this moving as fast as I can. Mr. Martin, you heard when my client, Brandon Keating, testified a little while ago, right?
Yes, sir.
You saw the transcript that he talked about when you testified in the trial in federal court back in 2016, correct?
Yes, sir. I remember this.
And you saw in that transcript, you testified that the Futuristic Hub channel was your channel, correct?
No, incorrect. I said my animation channel as far as at the time I was actually under the wing of several channels. I was managing several channels. They happened to have said this specific channel. It was when the term "my" was misconstrued. My autism should have said "a" or something else.
So your testimony there on the record is not what you were testifying to in federal court before a United States judge.
Is there a way we could show him his testimony?
Sure.
Have you seen your testimony, Mr. Martin?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've seen it.
All right.
I mean, we just went over this.
I had a special connection with Futuristic Hub due to the nature of how I've come to know the owner.
I'm going to share my screen briefly. Mr. Martin, can you see my, I'm sorry. Mr. Martin, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, I can.
There's somebody wanting to, wait. There's someone wanting to enter the room named Potato Phone. Is that someone affiliated with this case?
I'm not aware, Your Honor.
Is anyone else supposed to be here?
May I speak, Your Honor?
Sure.
I believe, I may be mistaken, but I believe that's going to be Chrissy Barmore, who will be a rebuttal witness.
Okay. We will let her in then.
It's going to be good.
Okay. All right. Let's proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Martin, I'm showing you this has been admitted as plaintiff's exhibit number 19. This was when Mr. Wyde cross-examined you in federal court. You understand that?
Yes.
And the line we talked about here was, you can see from line 8 down to line 13, Mr. Wyde is asking you about Futuristic Hub, right?
Yes.
And in line 13, you said that is my animation channel on YouTube. Yes. Is that the term?
Unfortunately, it says my. I should have said a, or at the time I was doing management for several channels. I should not have said my. I was
Okay,
under.
So what you're telling me today is the words "my animation channel on YouTube," yes, means something other than what you said in federal court in 16.
When I was running video games, I took several creators in as my own, if that makes sense.
Mr. Martin, I'm going to show you.
Your Honor?
Your Honor, if I could have just a moment, please.
Yeah, and Judge, I apologize, but Mr. Johnson keeps clicking back and forth and it blocks out our screens. I don't know if that's occurring on anybody else's screen.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not affecting mine.
Okay, well, he clicks on his name or his square, and then it blacks out the screen I'm on. I don't know what he's trying to do one way or the other, but it blocks me from being able to see Mr. Martin's response.
Yeah, I'm not clicking on anything but my own computer, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mr. White.
I'm not sure why you would need to be clicking on anything that would affect the screen unless you want to mute or unmute.
Mr. White, I'm not clicking on anything that's affecting the screen. That's what, and Judge just told you it's not affecting him, so it may be.
Well, I understand, but I have two witnesses sitting here watching it with me, so I don't want you to just take my word for it.
Maybe it may be a technical issue on your end, Mr. White.
What would be better, sir? Would it be if you could go ahead and mute until you need to speak? Because I do hear you. You are clicking. It does come up on my screen. It doesn't affect anything, but if it's affecting Mr. White, just go ahead and mute until you need to speak.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Can I continue?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Martin, I'm showing you on my screen what's been admitted as plaintiff's exhibit number 1 to this hearing today. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
This is the docket sheet taken from ECF for the federal court's website. You see on April 1st, 2016, they're on entry number 64. You would agree with me that the verdict was rendered against you on April 4th of 2016, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then if you look 2 lines down at line 63, there's an order to show cause. You see that?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you were ordered by the magistrate judge to show cause why you shouldn't be held in contempt, right?
Yes, sir. I remember this.
Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to come down to exhibit 2. You remember seeing this?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay. So as we look at page 2 here, you see, can you tell me what that is, please? That image right there?
This is appears to be a Futuristic Hub Twitter account.
Okay.
Yep.
That was your Twitter account, correct?
Incorrect. It was a Twitter account that I managed.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the difference between managed and yours?
What's the difference between a managed account and your account?
Well, manage, you help manage an account, and if it's yours, it's yours. Management and ownership, it's a confusing concept, but you either manage or you own.
Were you able to tweet from your phone for that?
No, that was not. No.
That wasn't him.
So was this you or not?
This was me, and I think it was a very short-lived comment. I know it was actually deleted when I realized it should have been on the video game's Twitter.
So in fact, what happened is you tweeted from your Futuristic Hub account asking people to submit inappropriate material to video games because you lost the trial, correct?
It was actually an account that was already auto-signed on. And when I noticed the mistake, I deleted it immediately.
And in fact, as we look down here at exhibit number 3, this was the response that your former lawyer, Bob Wilson, filed for this, right? In federal court?
I believe so. I have to read it. Okay.
And your response to this was that tweet was a joke for April Fool's Day, right? Here on
Yes, sir.
paragraph 30. Correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. It was an April Fool's joke.
So as we come down here, you see this verification page that's on my screen?
Yes, sir.
You verified under oath to United States judge that what you said in your response was true, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go to the next exhibit.
So, Mr. Martin, we don't have any disagreement or dispute that you filed some things with the Texas Secretary of State in June of 2016 about Futuristic Hub, correct?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
You filed some documents with the Texas Secretary of State concerning Future Hub in June of 2016, correct?
Not familiar.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to ask for the court for a little bit of guidance because they've objected to this exhibit, but I'd like to talk to the witness about it. I don't want to do anything inappropriate. Could I go ahead and show this on my share screen to ask him about it and authenticate it?
Your Honor, I have no objection to that.
Yeah, keep going.
What exhibit number?
Exhibit number 4.
Okay. So you withdrawn your objection to 4?
Yes, sir, I sure am.
All right, exhibit 4 is now admitted.
Thank you. May I proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Martin, can you see the exhibit number 4 that's pulled up on my screen here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is for Futuristic Hub LLC, correct?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to point it out to you right here, and it's highlighted right here. You see that?
Yes, I remember this LLC now.
Okay. Have you seen this document before?
Yes, that this is familiar. Yes, sir.
You see the filing date here is June 7th, 2016, correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay.
It's 2 months.
So that was approximately 2 months after the judgment was entered against you on April 15th, 2016, correct?
Yes, sir.
So as we look over here on the right-hand side, I see Brian D. Martin, manager, Chrissy Martin, manager. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Chrissy Martin was your wife at the time, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. We don't see Holly Martin on here, correct?
Yes, I kept a lot of Holly away from her.
Objection non-responsive after correct.
Bang.
Sir, you filed this document to formally incorporate the Futuristic Hub YouTube channel, correct?
Yes, sir. There's a reason for that.
Do the divorce.
So I understand that at some point you and Chrissy were divorced, correct?
But yes.
I want to take a look with you at Exhibit 5, which has already been admitted into evidence. And we're just going to kind of scroll through this, but I'm going to show you the parts I want to talk to you about. So you recognize this as the divorce petition that Chrissy filed in Collin County, correct?
Yes, I'll be honest. In my last phone call with my attorney previously, Adrian Bauer, I was only made aware of certain things in this divorce decree.
Objection non-responsive after correct.
Sustain.
So just to clarify something here, in this divorce petition, Mr. Martin, it says that you and Chrissy Martin were married on April 19, 2013, correct?
That is correct.
That date is correct, right?
Yes, sir.
You stopped living together as spouses on or about December 31st, 2018. Do you disagree with that?
I do not disagree. It was New Year's Eve. Yes, that's correct.
Sir, this document here, you see where it says Rule 11 agreement right here?
Yes, sir.
You've seen this document before, haven't you?
I barely.
Okay, you have seen it.
At the time I saw it, I was definitely in distress. In the beginning of 2019, when this stuff was happening, I got over suicide attempts, mental hospitals.
Objection non-responsive after yes.
Sustain.
Okay. Mr. Martin, let's look at paragraph B2 here on page 2 out of 3. You see that? Property to be awarded to husband?
Sorry, my battery was going low. Yes, correct.
You see subsection number 2 here, contents of Swiss bank account.
Yes,
What this document says, correct?
yes.
What account? Where is which bank?
Sir, do you have a Swiss bank account?
No, I do not. That was actually Chrissy's overseas account. She's the one that had to deal with all of that stuff. No,
You had nothing to do with that Swiss bank account.
nothing to do.
And you don't know anything about it.
I was made aware of it, but not as far as anything else.
When were you made aware of it?
This was in 2017. I think it's 2017. It's been a while.
he was awarded it.
And you were awarded that under this Rule 11 agreement, your divorce with Chrissy Martin, correct?
Yes, yes, that was what it says right there. She took a U.S. bank account and then she, over threats of legal stuff, she took it and then she awarded me something that I wasn't interested in.
Objection non-responsive after yes.
Sustain.
Wait, he signed it. He signed it.
Sir, on page 3 here, is this your signature?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and you signed this on January 22nd of 2018, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
2018.
Mr. Martin, I'm going to come down to a document that's part of Exhibit 5. The title on this is Final Decree of Divorce.
I'm sorry, can you scroll up to the January 20, I'm sorry, was it supposed to be 2019? I'm sorry.
It's 20,
Sure.
yeah, he's right, 2019.
No, he's right. It should be 2019.
Okay,
I just wanted to make sure.
Misstated.
Thank you.
correct.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Martin, I want to look at this document with you. It's part of Exhibit 5 entitled Final Decree of Divorce. Do you see that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Have you seen this document before?
I read all the way through it this summer, actually the past summer.
You just missed the, oh, never mind. There it is, the Swiss bank account.
I'm going to go down to the bottom of this, then we're going to talk about a couple of things.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see that this document was signed on March 18th of 2019 by a district judge in Collin County, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So as we come to the bottom of the page here on page 11, there's a signature field for you. This is your signature, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
You approved and consented as to both form and substance, correct?
Yes, but I was incoherent. It was at the time that I had just tried to commit suicide and I was on prescription.
Objection non-responsive after
So
yes.
It's a very difficult time.
Sustain.
Mr. Martin, I want to take a look with you. You were awarded some property in this divorce decree, right?
As far as I remember, yes.
It is ordered and decreed that respondent Brian Martin is awarded the following as its sole and separate property. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what this document says, right?
Yes.
Okay, so as we look at subsection R3 here, funds on deposit together with accrued but unpaid interest in the following banks, savings institutions, or other financial institutions. So there's a Swiss bank account here in Chrissy Lee Martin's name, correct?
Correct.
You were awarded that as your sole and separate property in this divorce, correct?
Correct.
And your testimony here today is you don't know anything about that account.
I was made aware of it in 2017.
Which institution?
Which institution is it with?
It was over. I mean, I could not tell you. It was. I think it started with a V. I do not know.
How much money was in it when you were awarded it in the divorce?
I believe she had stated it was around 3 or under 300,000 or USD.
You ever seen any statements from it?
No.
Okay, so your testimony is you only found out about it in 17, you didn't open it, and you don't know anything about it, essentially.
Correct.
What is there money still in the account?
Is there money still in the account?
No.
Where'd it go?
Where did it go?
She had awarded it to my mother, actually, for retirement.
It went to your mother, Carol.
Carolyn, yes.
Okay. What did your mother do with it?
She moved it to a Chase account for retirement. She accepted it as a retirement.
I have just a moment, please. Was that a Chase checking account that ends in the last four numbers 8352?
I honestly, as far as account numbers, I would not be able to confirm any of that.
Sir, your mother Carolyn opened a Chase bank account in Ukiah, California in February of 2019, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And you're a payable on death beneficiary on that account, aren't you?
I'm sorry, what?
You're a payable on death beneficiary on that account, correct?
Not that I was aware of.
Okay. So let's go down a little bit farther on this divorce decree.
Okay.
You see subsection R7 there?
Yes.
Will you read that aloud for the record, please?
All duties, rights, interests, copyrights, patents, intellectual property, taxes, earnings past, present, and future to his YouTube channel, Futuristic Hub Business.
You understand what that means, correct?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, you were awarded the Futuristic Hub channel, all of its earnings, past, present, and future, is your sole separate property in your divorce from Chrissy Martin, correct?
Yes, she actually had thought that it was my channel, and then she knew of Holly at the time, and then at the time with the affair, she was very upset at the time of making this. It's a situation.
Mr. Martin, you're continuously being non-responsive here. You're trying to argue with him. He's asking questions. Your attorney's going to get an opportunity to ask you questions, and so.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
All right, let's move along.
So, Mr. Martin, you were awarded this YouTube channel, Futuristic Hub, as your sole and separate property, correct?
Yes.
And so why is it not the sole and separate property right now?
Guys, if we're going to ever finish this, just move along. I get it. You don't need to go into any more detail on this. Let's move along.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Okay. Mr. Martin, you had a Wells Fargo account back at that time in 2016, didn't you?
It was a joint account with my ex-wife, yes.
You had more than one account with her, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, you didn't. Let me ask you this. You had a checking account 6673, correct?
When it comes to accounts, I'm not very good at that. What the numbers? I do remember a Wells Fargo though.
You had a savings account with her also, correct?
I might have.
Okay, you had more than one, didn't you?
Well, when you say account, are you talking about a savings and checking?
You had more than one savings account, either in your name or in her name, back in 2016, correct?
Wells Fargo, correct.
Okay. You had more than one checking account, either in your name or under her name with Wells Fargo at that time also, correct?
It might, I can't remember 4 years. I apologize.
Did you have a PayPal account then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have one now?
Yes, I believe I do.
And we asked you for that information in our discovery, didn't we?
Yes.
And you didn't provide it to us, did you?
No, it was an old account. I can't necessarily get into it.
An old account that you're still using?
No, I am not using it, sir.
When's the last time you used PayPal?
It was in 2019, early on. I believe it was for early 2019, around the time I was divorced.
Judge, I'd like to be brief, but since the exhibit has been objected to, I would like to show it to the witness without formally offering it the best I can.
What exhibit number is this?
This is exhibit number 6.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Martin, I would like to look with you at exhibit number 6. I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it a little bit better. You see this document?
Yes, sir, I do. Wells Fargo.
Have you seen it before?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
Have you seen this document before?
No, sir.
Okay. This is for a bank account that you had with Wells Fargo from 2015 to 2016, correct? This PMA package.
Gosh, I could not recall.
Okay. So you see this account right here. I'm going to put the cursor on it for you. Brian D. Martin, Marco Princip.
Wells Fargo checking.
Oh, this would be the joint account for, I believe, the video game situation. Is that what we're going for? I forgot about this one. Okay.
That's fine. I'm going to move on to something else. Thank you, though. We're going to go down a little bit farther. I want to look with you at this Premier checking account. You see this?
Yes, sir.
You see, this is a statement dated February 1st of 16 to February 29th of 16.
Yes.
Correct? The names on this account are Chrissy Martin and Brian Martin, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go down a little further. This is a checking account, 6673. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Brian Martin and Chrissy Martin, correct?
Yes,
That's you and your ex-wife, your wife at the time, correct?
that is correct.
Okay, and is it fair to say that this is a bank statement for that account from Wells Fargo?
That is fair to say. Yes, sir.
Okay, and these statements would come into you every month, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you could access these or they were otherwise available to you.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go down one more. This is Way to Save Savings, correct?
Yes, sir.
The account number is 1831, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Brian Martin and Chrissy Martin, correct?
Yes, sir.
These are statements from your Wells Fargo savings account, correct?
Yes, sir.
These statements were sent to you by Wells Fargo on a monthly basis as the account holder, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, these were made available to you, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to represent to you, Mr. Martin, that everything, the remainder of this exhibit are bank statements that came from Wells Fargo to you. Understand?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to offer plaintiff's exhibit number 6 into evidence.
Any objection? Any objection?
Sorry, Your Honor, I was on mute. No objection.
Exhibit 6 is admitted.
Thank you. So, Mr. Martin, I want to look with you at a couple of particular details here. We're going to look at your checking account from March 1st, 2016. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is about a month before you lost at trial in the federal case, correct?
Is this, I'm trying to find the date, balance 3. Yes, sir. That's correct. It's right there. Yes.
Okay, you see this is from March 1st to March 31st, 2016, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, this is Brian Martin and Chrissy Martin, your bank statement, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your balance here on March 31st was $126,925.52, correct?
Yes, sir.
So on March 15th, I see a PayPal transfer, and I have this highlighted for you, into this account in the amount of $8,398.87.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you don't disagree with that, right?
No.
So you transferred about $8,400 from your PayPal account into your checking account.
As it says, yes. I can't recall, though. This is quite a long time ago.
Fair enough, but that's what the document says, right?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And you have no reason to disagree with that as we sit here.
No
today,
reason
right?
to disagree.
Okay, so that money would have been coming from Google to PayPal for your channels, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And you were running Futuristic Hub at that time, correct?
No, sir.
You weren't.
No.
Okay, who was running it?
Holly Martin is the owner of Futuristic Hub.
So you were taking Holly's money and running it through PayPal and transferring it to your checking account.
No,
your wife's checking account.
This doesn't say where the channel came from. It's just a PayPal transfer, sir.
Okay. On March 18th, you paid $3,000 to Tony and Guy in Plano, Texas. Who was that?
That would be my ex-wife's schooling.
So as we come down, you agree with me that this document we're looking at right now, this is your savings account statement from March 1st to March 31st, 2016, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
Brian and Chrissy Martin, right?
Yes, correct.
Your balance on March 31st is $257,337.50, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. You were doing quite well then, I have to say, right?
Yes, video games was very well, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So let's take a look at this summary here on April. Actually, I believe this is at the end of April 2016. That's that statement, right? The 1st of the 30th and 16.
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. This is an overview of your PMA account, which shows this premier checking account, your way to save checking account, and your way to save savings account, correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Martin, I want to go in really close on this. So if we look at this summary, in your checking account, your balance last month was $126,925.52, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the balance at the end of April, after the judgment was entered against you, was $4,219.64, correct?
Balance is, I would say so.
So that means almost $123,000 went out of your checking account that month, correct?
I would not, I don't recognize these transactions.
This is what it says, right?
I can't read, I don't understand what's in front of me.
Sure, let me blow it up a little bigger for you.
I do see the numbers, sir. I'm just not.
So this is what the document says, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to dispute that today?
Yes. Yes, I do, sir.
Okay. So let's look at your savings account. We see the balance last month that we just looked at was $257,337.50, correct?
That's what it says, sir. Yes.
Okay. Well, the balance at the end of April went down to $1,001.21, right?
Okay, I'm starting to see this. Yes, sir. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. Yes.
Okay, so as we look at the decrease here, that's a decrease from that account of about $256,000 in that month, right?
Yes.
And this is during the month that you lost at trial, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go down a little further. This is your checking account statement from April 2016. You see that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Brian Martin, Chrissy Martin, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's look at some particular details here, and I'm going to blow this up for you. You see this on April 8th of 2016, there was a purchase bank check or draft for $50,000 made on that account, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the verdict was rendered against you on April 1st of 2016, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So you somehow withdrew $50,000 cash from that account a week later, correct?
Yes, sir. That was for Freeman and Feiger. That was to pay for the appeal. I do
Okay.
remember this now.
Okay, so on April 11th, you have an online transfer to C. Martin Preferred Checking 0033. You see that?
Yes, sir, I do.
That was for $63,000, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so who is C. Martin in that line there?
I'm going to have to say that could very well be my ex-wife.
Okay, so you have two people you were involved with back then that had first names that start with C's, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Your mother, Carolyn, right?
Yes.
And your wife, Chrissy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who did you transfer the money to?
I was not really in control of this part of the account.
Who was in control of it?
My ex-wife.
Okay. So $63,000 went out of your account and you didn't know about it?
No, I did not.
No knowledge whatsoever?
None whatsoever. After the judgment, I didn't care.
Okay. So you're denying that you made this transfer for $63,000, 10
Yes,
days
sir.
after judgment was rendered.
I will deny that, sir. Yes.
You don't know where that money went.
No,
Your Honor,
sir.
I'm going to object to repetition.
Yeah, sustained. This is not really relevant to what we're talking about. I understand why you're doing it, but if we're going to finish this, we need to get moving.
Okay.
You really feel like you're conducting discovery about other issues. We're here on the temporary injunction.
Yes, sir, Judge. I appreciate that. And before I move on, I'd like to offer exhibit number 7, which is a summary and will save me a lot of time on trying to get through this.
Is this the summary right here, or are you showing the summary?
It's I can pull it up. It's the next exhibit, number 7.
Any objection to 7?
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibit 7 is admitted.
Mr. Martin, I want to take a very brief look with you at exhibit number 7. You
Okay.
see that on my screen?
Yes, sir, I do.
I'm going to represent to you that these numbers were all taken from those statements that we just looked at. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You have any reason to disagree with any of these transfers and transactions that are shown on this exhibit?
There are some that I recognize, some that I do not.
Okay. You don't have any reason to dispute any of them as we sit here today, do you?
I will dispute.
Any particular ones?
I only recognize, sir, I believe it's the 50,000, and that was the retainer for Friedman and Feiger for the appeal. I don't recognize the others.
Sir, my last question to you about this particular subject, when we see PayPal transfers coming into that account, whenever it was, that was for monies that were paid to you by YouTube or Google, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
From the operation of your channels, correct?
Not operations management, I would say. Management.
Regardless, it's income coming to you from Google, YouTube.
It would originate from Google, YouTube. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Martin, I'd like to look with you at your 2018 tax return, which you produced to us in discovery, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
That's been admitted as exhibit number 8. Okay. So as we look at this page right here, you recognize this document?
Yes, sir, I do. That is the 2018 1099.
Yes, sir. And that came from Google directly to you, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Google paid you $104,980.22, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Where did that money go?
Well, it was back in 2018, so it was spent gradually as I got this money every so often. Like I said, I was doing freelancing and management and doing cashier's checks and stuff. I had expenses, flights expenses, business expenses. It's gone. Obviously, it is gone. It could go for rent, for food, travel, basically everything.
Okay, so as we sit here today, you can't tell me where that money went.
I can say, I could say it's.
He's answered it where it went.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what was said exactly.
Counsel asked where the money went, and then he asked him again where the money went. It's mischaracterizes his testimony.
Your Honor, I asked him to confirm that he can't tell me exactly where that money went as we sit here today. That was the question.
Okay. Go ahead and answer.
Yes, Your Honor. I cannot confirm every detail of where this money was spent.
We're going to go down to plaintiff's exhibit number 9. You produced these documents to us in discovery, and this is from a Capital One checking account, account number 4061. Do you see that?
Yes, sir, I do.
You opened this account using funds that you transferred from Christie's account, right?
I believe so.
Something like $10,000 to $12,000, correct?
I believe so.
If you'll bear with me for just a second, please. I'm going to find something in particular, and that's all we're going to talk about.
Yes, sir.
There's PayPal, you just missed it. Right there. Just paying GoDaddy, what's he paying?
Okay.
There's the deposit.
Mr. Martin, can you see on my screen, this is a statement that appears to cover January of 2019, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
From your Capital One checking account.
Yes, sir.
The only account you told us about, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you see here on January 11th, 2019, I'm going to drag my cursor across this and highlight it for you. You see what I've just highlighted there?
Yes, sir. I do remember this amount. Yes.
Okay, that was a PayPal transfer for $5,000, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this PayPal transfer, just like the other ones, that was for money paid to you by Google YouTube, correct?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, well then what was it for?
My ex-wife left me high and dry. I had no money and I had to get money from an account, and that was the 5,000.
How did the 5,000 get into your PayPal account?
I added her bank account to it to get the money. I was desperate at the time. I was left high and dry.
Did you take it from her without her knowing?
No. This account I would have assumed would have been community property. She left me and left me high and dry, and I felt entitled to have something. So 5,000, I took 5,000, and at this current moment, I believe my PayPal account is negative 5,000 because she disputed it.
Okay. If I could have just a moment, please. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Martin. I'm going to go down to. Okay. I'm going to go down to what's been admitted as plaintiff's exhibit number 10. Okay. Mr. Martin, you see this document?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay. You've seen this document before, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is a receipt for some payments that Google made to you that we've talked about already today, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you got an $80,500 payment from Google on December 21st of 2018, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where did that money go?
I do not know.
No idea.
No idea.
Okay. This checking 053, was that your account?
I do not recognize the checking account. I believe that could have been Chrissy's old account. Yes, I believe that could be Chrissy's old account.
When he was joint.
The one you were joint on?
No, sir. That was a separate account.
Okay. This is made directly to Brian Martin, nobody else, correct?
That would be the mailing address.
Objection non-responsive.
Overruled.
This payment was made to you, sir, correct?
These two payments, as I stated earlier, this was several channels that I was trying to manage, that I was trying to start a network.
Is this
But
your tax?
accumulated. It's difficult to explain. It's accumulated. It's a 2-month attempt at building a network.
Is this your tax identification number right here?
I never got familiar with my tax ID number.
Okay. So as we look at this receipt for January 21st of 2019, we see another transfer or a payment from Google to your name at your address, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's for $102,960.21, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
This went to checking 551, correct?
That is correct.
That was your account, correct?
No, sir, that is not. I do remember this one right here.
Whose account was it?
This January one would happen to have been checking. This is my mother.
Your mother, Carol.
Yes, yes, sir.
So she was receiving payments from Google YouTube that were made in your name.
At this junction, this was a borrowed AdSense account on Holly's stuff. As she was transitioning to the United States.
I'm trying to understand this, Mr. Martin. So was it Holly's AdSense account or who did it belong to?
No, so it would be my AdSense account borrowed out because at the time she didn't have one, if I could say that.
So you loaned it, you let Holly use it, and the money went to your mother.
Correct. She didn't have an account in the United States. She was transitioning. She was coming into the United States.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Martin, I understand that your wife, within the last year or so, purchased a house in Frisco, right?
That is correct. She received it as a gift. Yes.
12452 Cajun Drive, right?
That is correct.
I want to look with you at exhibit number 12 that's already been offered into evidence. You recognize this document as an inspection report that was made at your request for that house?
Yes, sir, I do. That was.
I see your name's misspelled, but that's you, right?
Brain Martin is
Brain Martin instead of Brian, which I think was a typographical error. That's you, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So as we go down, we can see the sale contract that your wife, Holly, signed this, correct, in January of 2019, correct?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with this temporary injunction. We need to move forward. If we want to finish this, we've got to get moving.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I'm going to finish as quickly as possible. I'd like to be done. This house was part of the TRO that we're asking for an order and joining them.
Okay. So this is part of the temporary injunction?
Yes.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought it was just those 4 websites. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Mr. Martin, you see this document from January of 2020.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. As we look at this, the purchase price for the house, I'm going to blow this up for you. This was $339,990, correct?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Okay. Which was the bank? Okay. So as we look at this is exhibit 13. This is from Republic Title Company of Texas. Right here.
Yes, sir.
Holly Martin, is this your wife?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Martin, I want to look at these couple of pages here closely with you. This page right here, I'm going to try to get this to where you can see it. Your mother, Carolyn Martin, wired $3,400 to Republic of Title, Texas on January 16, 2020 for purchase of the house, correct?
That is correct. She was involved in purchasing the house for my wife. Yes.
from a Chase Bank account.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
We go down one more page. Here we see your mother's Chase account again, and she's wired this time $336,584.98, correct?
That is correct.
And that was for Holly to use, right?
That was actually to pay for the house. She never received the money, sir. This
Fair
was
enough.
directly to the title company. Yes, sir.
Yes, I agree. So as we look at exhibit number 14 here, I'll represent to you, these are records we obtained from JP Morgan Chase Bank about your mother's account, okay? And I think we talked a little bit about this earlier. How often do you see your mother?
I seen my mother once, I think, in the past 5 years.
Okay. She lives in California, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
She's come to Texas to see you, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Has she ever been to England to see you?
No, sir.
So as we look at this account, you see this page right here? You're a payable on death beneficiary on this account, POD, correct?
It appears so. Yes, sir.
Is your mother working?
No, sir, she's retired.
How long has she been retired?
She retired this year, actually.
Okay. What did she do before then?
She was a school. I'm sorry. She wasn't a teacher. She was a teacher's aide for mental health.
Okay. Okay. So just very quickly, sir. All right. We see this account. The initial deposit was $389,932, correct?
I'm reading that, sir. Yes.
On February 4th of 19.
Yes.
As we come down, we see that was done by a cashier's check drawn her own account from Bank of America.
I believe
Right.
this is a retirement account. Yes, sir. I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Did you give her the money?
No, sir. I did not.
Okay. Do you have any accounts open with Bank of America?
No, sir.
Did you have any open at that time?
No, sir.
In the Essex purchase. And they-
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't finish this soon, I'm just going to order you to take his deposition because I've got to finish this.
Yes, sir, Judge. And I thank you for your patience. We're just about finished.
All right, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't finish within 5 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and just order a deposition to take place, and then we can finish this temporary injection some other time.
Judge, I wanted to make one point that I did want to ask.
You're using your 5 minutes, whatever you're doing.
Well, we have some requested relief because Mr. Martin is under a turnover order at this point in time that this court has signed. And so consequently, that has not been complied with in the past, and also had a request to make him for the court while he's in this hearing, just as if he was in court before you right now, that the court order him to appear at your courtroom, not for a hearing, but to order him appear at your courtroom on a specific day, on a specific date, at a specific time, as a direct order from the court. If he fails to appear because he's absenting himself from this jurisdiction, he would be in direct contempt, not indirect. He's fled your jurisdiction. So that's one of the requested relief items that I wanted to make pursuant to the evidence in this matter.
Hey, let's move along.
Judge, I just have a couple more questions. Mr. Martin, this property at 12452 Cajun in Frisco, your wife does not live there, correct?
Currently, no.
You do not live there either, correct?
Currently, no.
You and your wife have no plans to live in that house, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate your patience. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you, Mr.
Hey,
Mayor.
Cross.
Your Honor, is there any way we can take a 5-minute break? I gotta go to the bathroom.
Have your co-counsel take over then, because I've got to get this done.
All right, I'll just keep plugging along through it. Okay. All right. Mr. Martin, I want to kind of go back to the beginning. Tell the court what you do. It's not easy to understand, and I want the court to understand what you do.
Well, what
I understand what he does. I'm familiar with YouTube. You don't need to go into this. Let's move along.
All right. Now, tell us when you first met Holly.
We don't need to cover this.
It's okay.
We've already covered this. Let's move along.
Judge, they got almost an hour and a half on this, and I'm
just asking not to cover the same ground they've already covered. So let's just.
That goes directly to the YouTube channels. That is integral, how they met and how he brought her along in the YouTube business.
Well, you ask when did he meet, which has already been asked. But if you want to ask how they met and all the other stuff, you can ask that.
Tell me, thank you, Your Honor. Tell me how it is that you got involved with Futuristic Hub.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, I got involved with Holly when I met her in a Minecraft game. I was actively scouting for talent, and I've met her in the Minecraft game, and she had told me about her talents and her stuff, and that is when we met. I'm trying to make it not sound creepy.
And what year was that?
2012.
At the time that you met her, did she already have a YouTube channel?
Yes, sir.
What was the name of that YouTube channel that she owned?
It was Futuristic Hub. She was doing those kid animations.
Did she create the content for it?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever do any voiceovers for it?
Yes, sir. She did ask me to do some voices. She wanted a male voice.
Did she continue to run that channel and own that channel for the next several years?
Yes, sir.
And did you help her along in the process of operating a YouTube channel?
I helped her understand the ethics of operating a YouTube channel.
But she continued to own it.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And how is it that your involvement in this Futuristic Hub, I just want to make sure that I completely understand this. You continued over the years to help Holly create a channel for herself.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Did you ever own Futuristic Hub?
No, sir.
You own it now?
No, sir.
Have you ever sold it?
No, sir.
When did you, okay. What I do think we need to talk about these AdSense, because you said to the court and you explained it, and it looks like that you had money coming in. Explain who that money belongs to.
The AdSense account for the, you mean the two payments?
Yes.
The two payments were, the beginning was several YouTubers, several different people that I was helping manage. The last one in January happened to have been my current wife when she had needed assistance.
Did you ever, who owns Creamworks?
My wife.
When did she first start operating and owning Creamworks?
I believe she started that in, I believe it's early 2018.
Before you were married?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
What about Top Trends?
That was owned by Cameron Grant in the United Kingdom.
Do you or Holly have any affiliation with Top Trends?
No, not at this current time. It's a channel that's actually just sitting there. The original owner left it.
Why is it that the AdSense, according to Mr. Keating, would have been the same for all 4 of those channels?
I will have to say that there is no way to find the code. That would be a privacy issue with YouTube. Mr. Keating was not being upfront and honest in that finding. It sounded too technical, but there is no way to find any coding or match anything in that sense.
So if I asked you to go find the coding, you couldn't do it?
There is no coding, absolutely none. It would be a violation of privacy.
Okay.
A security issue, yes, sir.
So Creamworks is owned by Holly. Now, what about Blocktastic?
That's a role play channel for Holly's character, Steve. That's a gaming role play channel. She's also got Wild Hub, which is a female version of her character, Wild.
And how long has she been operating those channels?
That's Wild. I'm sorry, Wildcraft. She's started to cross over to gaming after about a year ago or two, about close to a year and a half ago. She crossed over to gaming as well.
So she owned those channels and operated those channels before you ever were married?
Correct. Yes, sir.
They were talking about the $300,000 that you got from your ex-wife, or roughly in that neighborhood. Isn't it true you never received that money? You disclaimed that money. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir. Yes.
You never had possession. Is that true?
That is true. Yes, sir.
You didn't want anything to do with it.
I did not at the time, no.
How did your mother get in possession of that money?
It was given to her from the separate property overseas.
Then that came straight from your ex-wife,
That is correct, sir.
from her separate property.
Yes, sir.
Now, when did Holly first know that you were in financial trouble?
Holly became aware in 2016 lawsuit. Actually, everyone did in YouTube. It was a very big deal. She did become aware of the legal situations in 2016. She did not know the financial implications until this summer, when it would directly affect her.
And as a result of that, she filed for divorce.
Yeah.
And what happened after that?
She filed for divorce because she was upset. I'm sorry. I begged her to stay with me. I didn't want her to leave me. And so to salvage our marriage, we agreed on a postnuptial agreement.
So we have presented to the court and opposing counsel a postnuptial agreement in this case. Is that correct? Postmarital agreement.
Yes, that's correct.
As exhibit number 1. And in that agreement, y'all split the property. She kept her separate property. You kept your separate property.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And there was also provision in that same partition agreement wherein your future income was your future income and her future income was her future income.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Did a lawyer draft it?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Nothing illegal about it.
Nothing illegal.
All right. Now, you had mentioned video games. Why do you still own video games?
I believe I still own 20% of the channel, yes.
Did you ever give video games to Dan Wide?
Under duress, yes. I gave.
How did that come about?
Dan, I see him laughing there. Dan Wide was very abusive toward Marco and myself. He was talking about throwing us in jail if we didn't give the channel around. If we did anything bad to the channel, anything bad, that we would go to jail.
This is irrelevant to this temporary injunction, so let's move on.
Yes, sir.
Are you making yourself any money right now from Futuristic Hub?
No, sir.
Are you making any money right now from Top Trends?
No, sir.
Are you making any money right now from Creamworks?
No, sir.
Are you making any money from Blocktastic right now?
No, sir.
And every one of those was, except for Holly owns Futuristic. Well, let's move on.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Simpkins?
Running, yes, 1 second. And I just, in relation to the screenshots that I've offered into evidence, and the court has those before them. Is it true, Mr. Martin, that the date a channel is established would be included within the about section of those screenshots that I presented to the court?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And the about section indicates when a YouTube channel is first created.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Just like the judge has a YouTube channel that shows when it was created.
Yes, sir.
And each and every one of those creation dates was before you were married to Holly.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else with this witness?
Just a few questions, Your Honor. I will be.
Mr. Nunn, move along.
Yes, sir.
But if you have to ask questions, you can, but we're going to run out of time.
Very, very quickly. I only have a few.
Judge,
Mr. Martin.
could I make a suggestion to my co-counsel and ask the court regarding a time issue real quick?
Yeah, we're going to break at 12:45, and then I'm going to have to reschedule this. So
We don't want to reschedule, but I would ask the opportunity to call Miss Chrissy Barmore in rebuttal, and I will defer to Mr. Nunn as he's taking the lead in this hearing.
If it pleases the court, I'll defer to Mr. Wide.
all right, Ms. Barmore, are you there? Can you go ahead and turn on your screen? Ms. Barmore, are you there? Go ahead and.
I am here.
Okay, you need to unmute and show your screen.
Hold on just a second. I am trying to share my screen and it's
Or
not
share,
allowing me.
just show your screen, just so we can see you.
Yeah, I'm trying, Your Honor. Give me 1 second. I got to go on my privacy settings here and allow it.
Your Honor, will I be able to make just a 1-minute statement because my name's on the proposed order also?
You will.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I must say I'm not comfortable with my ex-wife. She and I.
Excuse me, that's non-responsive, unsolicited.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Martin, but that's kind of irrelevant at this point.
Okay.
Name of that guy.
I have to be able to see if she's raising her hand and swearing to tell the truth. So if she doesn't have video, I'm not going to be able to let her testify. Are you there, ma'am? Looks like she left. All right, ma'am, please raise your right hand. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Ma'am, you need to unmute. You need to unmute.
I swear, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
Chrissy, this is Dan Wide. Thank you for being here today. Are you appearing voluntarily?
I am.
Okay. Chrissy, you were married to Brian Martin for how long?
From 2013 to early 2018, about 5 years.
Okay. Chrissy, does Brian Martin own Futuristic Hub?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Did he own it when you were married?
Yes, I
Did he
watched
own-
him create it.
Okay. Did he own Top Trends YouTube channel?
Yes,
You know that personally you have personal knowledge of that.
I've watched him create it.
Does he own, if you know, can you tell us what
he-
other channels he owns? Can you tell us what other channels he owns that you know of?
All that I know would be Futuristic Hub, Top Trends, video games whenever he had that. And he had an old YouTube channel that's irrelevant called Life in a Tent back in the day.
All right. You don't know anything though about Creamworks or for that matter, Blocktastic. Is that correct or is that not correct?
Creamworks is, I believe, an LLC he created for everything. If you watch his animations on his YouTube channel, every animation from probably around 2016, 2017, whenever he started, will say a product of Creamworks Animations, and it has a logo on there.
Okay, so if Brandon Keating said that he thought Creamworks Animation, it was his opinion that Brian Martin had created that and was the owner and in control of that channel, you would agree or think that that was an accurate statement. Is that a fair summary?
It is a fair statement because it
testify on the other, on Mr. Keating's character.
Overruled. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a fair statement because if you look at his Futuristic Hub channel, all of his animations were branded with Creamworks Animations. So I would say it's a fair assessment that he owns the channel.
All right. Let me ask you a question about when you got divorced and you saw, you joined us a little bit late, but there was a divorce decree. Did you know anything about a Swiss banking account?
He had created a Swiss bank account because I kind of saw it being set up. I don't know the name of the bank or anything like that, but he did set up a Swiss bank account and he moved money into it.
Okay. And do you know how much money he may have moved or have a rough estimate?
Rough estimate of anywhere of like 300,000 to 400,000.
Does Brian Martin deal in cryptocurrency to your knowledge, or did he do so when you were married?
Yes, he used Coinbase.
Now, do you have any idea how much money he put into cryptocurrency?
Oh, it was thousands. I have no idea how much exactly, but it was a good chunk of change.
When Brian filed tax returns, would he let you see the tax returns?
No.
Were they joint tax returns?
I wouldn't even know.
Okay. Now, do you have any idea how much YouTube or, Google AdSense and or YouTube has compensated Brian? Could you give us an estimate over the last, say, 5 years?
It would have to be upwards of at least. It could be anywhere from like 800, 900,000 within the last 5 years.
Would you be shocked to know that Brian Martin had saved $2 to $3 million?
I would be shocked.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Mr. Martin testified a few minutes ago that he transferred money from this Swiss bank account to Carolyn Martin, actually, and then Carolyn Martin, that would be your ex-mother-in-law, correct?
Correct.
Characterizes the testimony. It's not what he
I
said.
don't think that's what he said.
Yeah. Mr. Martin, you heard Mr. Martin testify that he transferred approximately $340,000 to his mother from a Swiss bank account, correct?
Actually, Your Honor, that mischaracterizes the testimony. It's not what he said.
The question is, did she hear that? So did you hear that or not?
Yes, I heard.
Okay.
Your Honor, again, it's not a response.
Excuse me. In the interest of time, now that would be your ex-mother-in-law, correct?
Correct.
So let me see if I understand this correctly. Mr. Martin claimed that it was your account and your money in January of 2019. Is that true or not true?
Not true. If it's my money, it's funny that I never had access to it.
Excuse me. And did that and you transferred allegedly per Mr. Martin's testimony, you transferred this $340,000 to your ex-mother-in-law so she could buy a house and put it in Holly Martin, Mr. Martin's current wife's name. Is that what you did?
Incorrect. I transferred that money to Brian Martin.
Right. Would you say that was a false statement that he gave under oath in this proceeding?
Yes.
Now, who is this guy? Do you know this gentleman, Mr. Cameron Grant?
Yes, I know a little bit about him.
And
he did some videos for Top Trends.
Okay. And who owned Top Trends at the time he did the videos?
I think at one point Brian owned the Top Trends channel, and then he transferred it into Cameron Grant's name.
And did he do that transfer after this judgment for the $18 million?
I believe so.
And did he transfer it, in your opinion, to avoid anybody knowing he had ownership of that channel?
Yes.
Does Brian Martin have a history of opening accounts, whether it be at Google, YouTube, PayPal, Swiss banks, or other institutions in other people's names, but he maintains control of the account through the username and password?
Yes, because I believe that's what he did with the Swiss bank account.
Okay. And you had no knowledge about it when it was created at all?
No.
Did you realize that in the divorce decree, you gave him $300,000 in that account?
I mean, I didn't know exactly how much was in the account. I just knew that I wanted nothing to do with it.
Okay. Lastly, if you will, well, that's all I'm gonna ask of Miss Martin and past witness. I mean, excuse me, Miss Barmore. Thank you so much for your time, young lady.
Any cross?
Yes, Your Honor. Hey, Ms. Barmore, my name's Philip Simpkins. I do not have a lot of questions for you. I'll try to be really quick. Mr. Martin, your ex-husband, he was in the business of creating YouTube videos. Is that correct?
Correct.
And as part of his work, did he create these videos from the home?
Correct.
Would you see him working on these videos from the home?
Correct. Yes.
Did he create videos for other YouTube channels other than those that he owned?
Other than those that he owned, I don't believe so.
Do you, other than seeing him actually create videos at home, do you know that he owned Futuristic Hub?
Yes.
Did he ever mention that name to you?
Yes, I was there when he first created it. I watched him make it.
And would that be and as far as Top Trends, did he ever create videos for Top Trends that you saw him creating?
Yes.
And do you know whether that was for his own channel or somebody else's channel?
At the time, I believe it was when he owned it.
When was the last time you spoke to Mr. Martin?
I haven't spoken to him since the divorce.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That's all I have.
No further questions from me.
All right, ma'am, you are excused. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Became the judge not.
Call your next witness.
Nothing further from us, Your Honor.
Mr. Simpkins, call your first witness.
Your Honor, we have no witnesses.
All right, Mr. Princip, you said you wanted to say something, or did you want to call yourself as a witness, or what did you want to do?
Yes, I want to call myself as a witness. Well,
right,
my name is on the proposed.
Well, I need to swear you in, sir.
Oh, okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you, your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
All right, I have my written statement right here. First off, Your Honor, the plaintiffs submitted 18 exhibits, and not in one single one was I mentioned. My name wasn't mentioned in any of this 2.5-hour testimony. So I'm just saying that I just don't see there's any reason why there should be an injunction on me. I have nothing to do with any channels, with any property. At the very bottom, it says Marco Princip. So I have nothing to do with any of this stuff. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and, sorry, any other witnesses?
Your Honor, I've got just a couple of questions if I could for Mr. Princip. Mr.
Okay.
Princip, are you familiar with the channels that we're discussing here today?
Yes, I am.
Do you have, do you know who owns those channels?
I believe I do, yes.
Hey, somebody is Zoom bombing us.
Zoom bombing, which is what that Jamal, I don't know how that works, but
I don't.
Yeah,
Mr.
there you go.
Princip? Okay. Have you ever, Mr. Princip, have you ever had a conversation with Holly Martin?
I know her as Brian's wife, but no, I haven't had a conversation with her.
Have you ever heard that Holly Martin owns Creamworks, Top Trends, Futuristic Hub?
I'm going to object to that as hearsay, calls for hearsay.
Can other people hear music right now?
I hear something a little bit like some ringtone or something.
Okay. Someone has hacked me, apparently.
Objected to the question as a call for hearsay.
Well, just specifically.
All right, I'm going to shut down this YouTube. I'm going to shut down this channel, and we're going to reconvene at 2:30. Okay.